Hey, Emma.
Yes, Madelyn.
Why didn't those guys in Star Wars know which robots they were looking for?
Gosh, I just don't know.
Because they'd never met Droid before. Hello, and welcome to Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
There we go. I'm one of your hosts, Madelyn.
I'm your other host, Emma. I'm sorry, I was just sort of stunned into silence there for a second. I just had to...
It was pretty good.
To take a moment to just let that process in my brain. Just the sheer somethingness of that joke just, like, got me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. The world thanks you.
Look, my backup joke was something about ice cream cakes. Like,
what?
Carvel, but like Marvel.
Oh. Wow. Yeah, I'm glad you went with this one.
Yes!
Something
Emma liked my joke.
Ever thought I would say in my entire life.
Emma liked my joke.
No. Wouldn't go that far.
Well, I hope that joke wasn't too spooky for you.
It wasn't, so no. It wasn't
because it's a happy belated Halloween
Mm-hmm.
from Talk This. We're recording this episode pretty far ahead of time, so it's actually spooky Halloween.
Spooky,
here
yeah.
At Talk This.
We're even doing it at night, so it's extra spooky.
Spooky. Spooky is no good if you don't take advantage of those vowels in the middle. If you dressed up as a video game character or did anything video gamey, drop us a line, by the way. Mm-hmm. We'd love to feature you. I did nothing for Halloween this year.
Me either.
But I wish I had. I wish I'd had something to get some kind of dorky video game costume together for. Maybe next year.
I always think, like, I could sort of dress up as Sora. Because, like,
yeah, you sort of have the hair going right now.
Yeah, I could... I mean, it's not long enough. It wouldn't be as spiky. I guess I'd more look like Roxas. But I was just thinking I have those big yellow Converse.
Yeah, the ones that I earned by selling my artistic soul.
Plus, I have gigantic feet for my body, so that just works for the Kingdom Hearts series as a whole. Perfect. Yeah.
Anyway, now that we've talked about 5 different topics that aren't related to what this episode's about,
tell them what it's topical still. It's Halloween.
Yeah. Tell them what the episode's about.
So this week, we are talking for our old game about the Metroid series. And for our new game, we are talking about Avengers Academy.
Emma's been waiting for this one to get drawn.
I've been waiting for this.
The whole time we've been recording. I feel like Avengers Academy...
It's been in the hat since the very beginning.
And now its turn has finally come.
Yes. It's finally time.
We have to start with Metroid, despite I'm sure you could talk about Avengers Academy for hours and hours.
Probably.
So Metroid is one of those, like, actual video game classics.
Yeah.
Like, we may talk about games that we feel like are classics on here, but Metroid is unassailably just, like, a classic video game.
It's its own genre.
What do you mean?
Metroidvania is a genre, which is Metroid
weird.
And Castlevania.
I see.
In that they're like the 2D adventure side scrollers. Is a Metroidvania.
Well, Metroid itself is a little bit sort of a mashup. Well, it's made by Nintendo, and so they sort of mashed up some of their side-scrolling stuff from Mario, but also some of their dungeon stuff from Zelda, and a little bit of new stuff.
Because it's not like it's like shooting a little bit.
Yeah. I'm most familiar with Metroid because it's like the thing I like to talk about most about Metroid is we've got a lady protagonist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Emma's not as excited about it as I am, apparently.
No, I mean, it's, yes, it's good.
Thanks for that insightful analysis.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't a good or bad thing, but Samus really isn't much of a character, like, at all. You know, like, she doesn't really have a personality, because it's all, you know, you don't Metroid, like, you don't really interact with any other characters. And the only time they've attempted to give her a character was in Metroid Other M, which we're better off not talking about even a little bit.
I feel like...
Because it's kind of horribly sexist.
I feel like there's a character involved in the Super Smash Bros. Depiction, namely one that wants to Super Smash you.
Oh, yeah. I think there's 2 versions of Samus in the Smash Bros, actually.
Yeah, you can be armored or
Samus,
unarmored.
and then there's Zero Suit Samus. You just brought that up. I thought you were going somewhere with it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting for you to say more about that, and then nothing came. Yeah, so Samus is really famous for, it's like, you don't know what's under the suit for the whole game, and then you beat the game, and suddenly you discover you've been a woman all along.
Yeah. But also, depending on how well you do, you get to see more of Samus.
Look, I'm not saying that it's a perfect depiction of a woman.
No. I mean, of course, yeah.
But I think that despite, like, almost because of the fact that she has no personality, it's almost more significant. Like, okay, I get that it was really originally a lady of, like, let's reward you by finishing the game with, like, pixelated boobies. But I still think it's cool that there's no reason she had to be a woman. There's no reason your space dude at the end couldn't have found some hot alien chick. And we've been rewarded by hot alien pixelated.
That's true.
Goods.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Like, how many female protagonists in games were there before this? I feel like not many.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the Pong things. I did see, this is not super related, but it's a little related because it's Nintendo and it's an old protagonist. I saw a very disturbing story on BuzzFeed this week about a cartoon that shows little Mario's Mario.
Yeah.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
I've been debating about...
people were scandalized by his nipples.
I know. I've been debating whether it's appropriate to post on the Facebook all week. Like, I almost posted it on Halloween. So I was like, be spooked. But, like, here's a shock.
There's nothing spookier than the little Mario. Truly one of the most terrifying things in our world. The cartoon wiener.
But see, this is like, you never get that. Like, we don't have to have that at the end of Mario. Can you imagine if at the end of Super Mario it was like, you did a good job, so like, here's Zero Suit Mario.
No. That's because Mario is more of like a mushroom than a person. You know?
Still though, like, there is a storied tradition in video games, like it or not, of like, your reward for doing good at the end of the game is like 8-bit nipples.
Yeah. Well, not that far, but
yeah. I know, but like 8-bit bikini.
Yeah.
And there's been lots of controversies about that over the years too.
Yeah.
But I feel but there are no games where it's like, good job at the end, like, see the whole package.
That's because nobody wants to see that. There's
like,
that's the reward for the horror game. Like, if it's you finish the horror game, one last jump scare. I'm sorry. This is so off topic now.
It's not off topic. Can you imagine? Someone should create this where Samus's suit comes off and it's like just like a man, like a hairy chest. Just pecs everywhere. Pecs and some tidy whities. Surely that exists, right?
Pecs and tidy whities? Yeah, I'm sure they exist.
No, like someone who's like, let's make my man Samus Zero Suit.
Except there is no man Samus.
Sam, then.
Well, Samus is, I guess... Samus can be... It's like the Bible story, right? Samus.
What?
Samson, I'm sorry.
Samson, yeah.
Oops.
Nice.
It's been a while.
Well done.
Sorry.
That would have been funny, though, if it had actually been a biblical allusion, but it's not.
It's not. Where'd they get that name from? I guess it just sounds spacey. I don't know.
You want me to look it up?
Sure.
I will. Talk about something else about the game while I look it up.
So yeah, like, Metroid is one of Nintendo's, very successful properties. Along with, like Malyn said, Mario and Legend of Zelda. Although, it's a little less, I think, I mean, it's still pretty ubiquitous as terms as video games go, but it's a little less instantly recognizable for people. But it's also, like, it went through, like, after Other M's mess, it sort of went through, like, a bit of a hiatus. But there was a big deal. I think it was at E3? No, maybe it was later than that. But they announced Metroid Prime 4 is coming out, which I saw, like, a lot of people were really excited about. Because I think they're like, oh yeah, it's going back to, like, it's good iteration.
Okay, you want to know... Oh, sorry, I'm phlegm. You want to know Happy Halloween? You want to know the origins of some of the names of this stuff?
Sure.
I've looked it up. Okay. So apparently in a 2004 interview with Nintendo Dream, Hiroji... Oh no. Kiyotaki?
Just say it like one syllable at a time. Kiyotaki.
Hiroji Kiyotake and Yoshio Sakamoto.
Is it a K? Is it K-E or K-I?
K-I.
Ki. It's pronounced the same no matter where in the name it is.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Just wanted to get it right for the people listening.
So Metroid came about from, they attached Android to Metro Subway.
What's with the Metro Subway? Just because?
I don't know. They just decided on it. It used to be called Space Hunter. Mm-hmm. Less creative. Mm-hmm. And then Samus, her last name is Aran.
Yeah.
A-R-A-N. It's based on the real name of Pele, the famous soccer player.
Interesting.
Edison Arantes de Nascimento. He says, even the name of the protagonist could be put together in this manner, and if I wanted to give someone a strange name, I could refer to Pele's name.
And just, like, take random syllables from it? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, basically they said they sort of made a mistake.
Oh.
He's like, well, not exactly. It's like, if you check if Pele's real name was Samus Arantes, that's a little incorrect. He's called something Arantes, and only Aran matches. So they sort of derived it from Pele.
That's interesting.
Also, an internet search tells me that Samus, I mean, I think that this is people putting meaning on it backwards, but is the female variant of Seamus, which is the Celtic variant of James, which means he, or in this case she, who supplants. And Aran might refer to the Aran Islands on the west coast of Ireland, which would mean she who supplants an island, or she who conquers an isolated area by force. However, given that the creators said that they basically, like, joked around and picked Pele's name, I think that this is meaning being, like, retroactively derived.
Yeah. But it works, I guess. I can see Samus being a female variant of Seamus, I guess. So they sound similar.
Why not?
Yeah.
And apparently she was born around 2055.
Oh. So, her birthday's coming up in 30 years.
38 years.
Yep. 40 years. What year is it? Who knows?
The big O. The big 0. Big birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, I can also ask, how tall is Samus? She is... How do people know this? 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighs 198 pounds without her armor.
Probably, that's interesting that she weighs 198 pounds without her armor. I feel like...
She's very tall.
I guess so, yeah. I guess, muscle weighs more, I guess. But, what was I going to say? Oh, I mean, height you can sort of... probably this was released in, some sort of promotional, fact book that comes with, a pre-order thing that you get from video games. But you can probably figure out height from, looking at, her against the environment.
That's fair.
I don't think you can figure out weight necessarily, but, you could probably, make a educated guess on what her height might be by, looking at it.
Dang. I'm now looking at, the various bikinied Samuses. The Super Metroid swimsuit is quite daring. It's a one piece, but it's got just a cutout for her 6-pack.
Oh, of course.
That's it. Wow, there's some great visuals here. You guys are gonna get some great treats on the Instagram if I remember to post this week.
Make sure to post, or I'll keep using the exact same thing over and over again, as I have been on every social media.
Yeah, have you seen that thing of someone jumping up and down, that gif?
X station! Double X!
It won't load this visual, this breakdown of her without her armor for me. Oh, wow. But, how many people, I wonder, who play Super Smash even know who this is?
I think more people than know who, the Fire Emblem characters are, or the Earthbound characters are, Or,
That's fair.
Or anything like that. In terms of rankings, I think you've probably, got, Mario characters, Zelda characters, Metroid. That's my guess. Maybe Pokemon. I forgot that there's Pokemon in it.
Yeah.
Probably Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, Metroid.
Well, okay, wait. Do you want to hear this, fun quote from their development process that really shows how deeply they considered this character?
Mm-hmm.
Quote, "We were partway through the development process when one of the staff members said, 'Hey, wouldn't that be kind of cool if it turned out that this person inside the suit was a woman?' They voted and it passed."
Yeah.
What deep conception of the story there.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, it was more you come up with a good gameplay and then you slap a shorthand onto it, which isn't to say anything bad about those games, but, what they could sort of handle at the time.
Apparently, she's modeled on Sigourney Weaver.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, of course it makes sense. But also, the game's instruction manual refers to Samus as if she were male to really, make it a shock. How interesting.
I do, it's interesting, I wonder if they did that, if that was, a localization thing, or if they actually did it in the Japanese, because it's really easy in Japanese to actually not refer to a gender when talking about a person. They use pronouns way less often than we do. So, and especially, I mean, Samus, that, it's not really a gender-specific name, but there's a lot of names in Japanese that are gender-neutral. A lot more than here. So that's interesting, if they, purposely referred to it as male within the instruction manual.
She is technically not the first major female protagonist. Tobi Masuyo, also known as Kissy, from Alien Sector. Predates her by a year. But the Guinness World Records still lists her as the first playable human character in a mainstream video game.
Yeah. Can't say I've heard of Kissy before.
I have not either, but she was the first. So you go, Kissy.
Good job.
You go.
Kisses for Kissy.
It's also been named by multiple places as, like, the greatest twist in video game history and the greatest moment in Nintendo history. That ending.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine now the real shock of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But yeah, she was I think it's Mario. Nintendo does better, I think, when they don't put a whole lot of definition in their characters. You know, like they don't come up with, like, you know, backstories and character motivations.
That's fair, but I think it's interesting that they do that, but not as, like, an audience surrogate kind of way. Like, there's not a lot of backstory for Mario, but I don't, like, think of myself as Mario when I play that game.
Yeah, but do you really think of Mario as, like, a person either? He's just,
well,
like, sort of like a little avatar for you to...
Now that we've gotten up close and personal.
Up close and personal with Mario, with little Mario.
Stop.
You're the one who called it that first.
This Goomba.
Oh, God. This Goomba. Oh, man. But yeah, we should probably switch soon, and I don't even want to get into the mess of Metroid Other M. But let's just say...
Get into it just a little.
It sort of tarnished the reputation of Samus.
I'm seeing it now. I'm reading about it now. She's, like, unsure and insecure.
Yeah. And, like, what's one example that I think is really egregious is, like, so, like, she can't... Usually you, like, find your weaponry over the course of the game, but instead in this, she just can't use her weaponry until her male superior authorizes it. And there's one point where you're literally in an environment that is chipping away at your health, and only partway in does he say, okay, you can use the part of your armor that protects you from this now. And she doesn't, like, do it by herself because, like, the environment is hostile and who cares if he hasn't given permission. Like, this is stupid. She's not allowed to use it until he says that she can.
Who thought that was a good idea?
The people who made, like, the boob physics Dead or Alive volleyball series. Where the team that I think worked on that.
Great.
Yeah. So they made an interesting choice.
Fighting the good fight there.
Yeah, but it's, like, supposed to be about motherhood, which I guess you couldn't get from the title. Other M. Mother.
I actually didn't get that from the title. But yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, it's not awesome. Let's just leave it at that.
Speaking
I'm
of
glad that
another
they're going back to their roots with the new game, or at least they seem to be.
You stepped on my segue.
Sorry.
Can I do it again?
Yeah, you can do it again.
Here we go. Ready?
Ready.
Speaking of another
M.
M.
I'm just kidding. Okay,
Speaking of another M. Speaking. Happy Halloween. Speaking of another M. Marvel Avengers.
Wow, that was a great segue.
Thanks. Wasn't it worth the wait?
It was worth the wait.
I thought so. I honestly didn't do that much research into this game because I sort of figured Emma's going to launch into, like, a half-hour monologue.
I'm not going to launch into a half-hour monologue.
Emma, tell us about this game.
Okay, so it's sort of what it sounds like. Avengers Academy. But it's a mobile game. And it's sort of like a city builder. Except you're also building up your characters. But you just start with a couple of characters and, like, a couple of buildings. And then you have story missions that you progress through to, like, further the story. And then you also have just, like, extra missions that you do to earn gold and supplies. So all the Avengers and all the characters that Marvel currently owns, so not counting X-Men, yeah, it's disappointing. An X-Men event would be pretty awesome, but they have their own school, I guess, so it wouldn't really make sense for them to go there.
X!
Double X! That GIF is just so perfect for every gaming situation for us. But anyway, so all of them are teenagers. Iron Man is just like sort of a playboy, prodigy, and Wasp is a fashionista, and Loki is a dancing, obsessed prankster, and Black Widow is like a goth chick, and is voiced by Annie from Community, which
We're
is
watching
funny,
Community,
which is funny every time I hear it. They got like some really big name voice actors for like the initial group, like not James Franco, but his brother does Iron Man, Dave Franco. And there's some other ones too that are like, wow, really? But then you collect all these characters, and you get more and more. And then there's also events that are usually based around like whatever's coming out at the time. So like what movies are coming out, or TV shows, or there's just like, you know, Christmas and Halloween events. And in those events, you can get like limited time characters, and get like limited time story events, which is sort of where they get in. They sort of tempt you to spend your money for characters and stuff. And just sort of it's really sort of just like goofy and fun, like seeing all these characters have like weird little romantic entanglements and like friendships and rivalries and backstabbing and all that sort of high school stuff. It's just sort of goofy and lighthearted. And there's some really sweet friendships, and it's just like really addicting once you like get into the story and everything. Even if it is a little overwhelming because they have like non-stop events now. They used to just have them every once in a while, and now like once one ends, you jump right into another. But yeah, it's just sort of fun in that way.
You can't see it, but Emma is tearing up.
I'm not tearing up. I haven't had as much time to play it recently, actually.
Is the love affair coming to an end?
No, I still enjoy it. I'm a little, like, it's a little bit like they're doing all these events, and they're not adding anything to, like, the main story, which means that no new areas are opening up. So, like, events come with their own buildings, right? So I have to, like, get rid of buildings to put the new event buildings in so I can actually progress it, because there's not enough space to put things now. And they need to make some updates. Like, they need to have something like character storage, or something. Like, you can like put them away in the dorms. They're not like walking around your campus. But like,
sure.
No, because
which they had that in college too.
All your characters walk around the campus, and once you have like 50 or 60 characters, like I do, that makes the game run really extremely slow. You know, so like. Just, like, getting rid of that animation, like, if you, like, put them in a building and, like, they're not doing anything there, that would make the game run so much better.
I see.
And they need to implement something like that. And they've, like, TinyCo is the company that does it. And they've said they're going to make these updates, but I haven't seen anything that indicates they're doing it. They just, like, keep doing event after event, which makes it, like, hard to keep up. Because, like, I don't really want to get that many more characters because I feel like I just, like, will make the game unplayable, sort of.
Well, it's tough because there's endless Marvel movies.
Yeah, but they just need to, like,
promote.
take a month's break and not do anything and, like, focus on, like, the game part.
And this is, I feel like, the rare... Because I feel like mobile games, usually you download them and you love them for a week.
Yeah.
Maybe a month if, like, everyone's playing it.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go is sort of the prime example. And then you forget about it. You put it down. What has made you keep coming back to Avengers Academy? Try not to cry.
Well, I mean, it's the brand recognition, to be sure. You know, like, it's just, like, so fun and goofy to, like, see all your favorite characters in, like, their high school incarnations. And, you know, like, the serious events, like Civil War, are just, like, goofy, like, little robot battles or whatever. And, like, seeing it scaled down in that way, it's just, like, you know, it's, like, sort of, like, part of the joy of, like, reading fan fiction sometimes. You know, it's just, like, goofiness. Like, if you're like, oh man, I love these characters, I want more of it, and then you just get some goofiness out of it. And just, like, the characters are, like, really sort of, like, they don't, like, the stories are, like, little conversations mostly, but they're just, like, very well written. I don't know. Like, Iron Man and Wasp, like, have, like, they're, like, friend goals, essentially. It's, like, the cutest little friendship. You get, like, invested in the relationships between the characters, and you want to see where they're going. So I like stories, obviously. So I think, like, a lot of mobile games, like, don't really have story or characters. That's true. So, like, this one is something
man
where...
running through the temple?
I know, yeah. Like, why is this person running through the temple? Why am I crushing this candy? You know, who knows? But I have, like, character and story, and it's, like, just fun. Like that.
And tell the folks at home which character you spelled... I'm so excited about this. You shelled out real-world money for.
Lucky the Pizza Dog. I love the Hawkeye comics by Matt Fraction. So how could I not get Lucky the Pizza Dog? Like...
How?
It's just inconceivable. Like, how can you have Kate and Clint, but you don't have Lucky? Like, that's just an incomplete superhero team right there. So I bought him.
How could I do anything but agree?
With real money. But now he just, like, butzes around my campus. I have another dog, too, Cosmo the Space Dog, but I didn't pay for him.
So are the two dogs friends?
Not really. No, well, I think they've had some conversations, yeah, actually. But Lucky can't actually speak, and Cosmo can. So their communication is limited in that regard.
Well, disappointing, frankly. That would be a great storyline. The dog heroes.
Yeah, I think they're like, there's some issue with dogs that they'd like team up to they've had a few conversations.
They should be best buddies. Anyway, enough about dogs. Do you feel ashamed that you spent real money on this game?
No, not really. I mean, I think I spent like $10.
$10?
Like, overall. I think I spent it on like a couple of other things.
Okay, I was gonna be like, you spent $10 on one character.
$10 is not really that much money to put on a mobile game.
Okay, I
know. No, for any game. Like, you know, they're free and they run entirely on microtransactions and ads. So honestly, like, if you enjoy a mobile game, you should buy something from them every once in a while, or at least watch the ads.
Dude, they don't owe me anything.
What do you mean they don't owe you anything?
I'm entitled to their hard work. Give me Lucky the Pizza Dog for free.
Yeah. No, but, you know, like, we spend, you know, $60 on AAA games.
I think that's ridiculous, too, but whatever.
But that's, like, a more stable source of income, you know? Like, mobile games is more like, you either hit it big or you're barely scraping by, sort of.
No,
you know?
I understand. I'm just being annoying.
Yeah.
So, like, what are other things you can buy? Are there characters you haven't bought?
Yeah, there are characters I haven't bought. There's always, like, 1 or 2 premium characters in events that you buy only with shards. And then there's a couple that you can unlock by progressing through the event. And then there's, like, 5 premium characters that are just, like, overall. But I've got enough shards to, like, just naturally, by watching ads, to buy them. without spending money.
And you don't feel like a corporate shill when you watch the ads?
No. I mean, I can just, like, keep hitting the watch ad button while I'm doing something else. And I just get the shard from doing it.
Can you tell I'm trying to make you feel ashamed about this game that you like?
Yeah, I can tell.
How does it make you feel?
I don't know. I mean, I think people look down on mobile games a little bit.
Definitely.
Sometimes with good reason. And some games are just trying to scam you out of your money. As all games are. As all media is. They're just trying to scam you out of your money.
As everything is.
Yeah. But, you know, if you get enjoyment out of it, like, I'm not saying that any mobile game is really particularly worth, like, spending $200 on. Although then you're what the developers would call a whale, and they love you. But, you know, playing a mobile game, watching the ads, spending money from time to time, like, that's just, like, any other thing, you know?
Do you think there are any truly great mobile games? I'm trying to think.
I don't play enough mobile games.
But isn't that indicative in and of itself?
What's the criteria of truly great in a game anyway?
I don't know, like classic in some way. And not classic just in like tons of people played it, but classic in that it's also like worthwhile in some way.
But what does that mean? What makes a game worthwhile?
Okay, I know. I'm sorry. I'm wading into like murky territory. But like even just a critically acclaimed mobile game, is there such a thing?
I think so. Especially because, you know, there are games that are both mobile and console.
No, those don't count.
Those don't count?
No, unless the mobile game is significantly different than the console game in some capacity.
Yeah, okay. No, there are mobile games from time to time that people talk about. I just don't really, I've never really paid attention to them, just because I don't have like a tablet, you know, that I can play games on. Mm-hmm. And my phone is already pretty full, just from like other stuff, so I don't really have space for them, so I don't really pay attention when there is like a big mobile game.
Yeah, because something that was a little bit disappointing to me, so I went to this game expo last weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, do you think would you count like a Samsung VR game as a mobile game or a Google Cardboard game?
I think that VR is its own category.
But you play it on a phone.
Okay, maybe technically, but if we're getting into VR world, I'm sort of talking about a different category of game there, right?
Okay.
But something that a little bit was disappointing to me at this expo, just a little, I mean, I had a great time overall, it was super fun, played a lot of fun games, but they all felt sort of designed for mobile.
What do you mean?
Like, there wasn't very much story to it, most of the gameplay mechanic was pretty simple, even if I was playing it on sort of whatever, the Xbox controller connected to something, it felt like it was made for a mobile game.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a lot of what VR is capable of right now.
Oh, it wasn't just VR, though.
Oh. I thought you were talking about the VR thing.
I mean, this at this expo, I did play VR, but it was not just VR.
Okay.
They had a lot of
So it's just like horror
well.
Games?
No, it was just all sorts of games.
Oh.
Like, what did I play? The one I thought was really cool, that was maybe a little bit different than, like, the other sort of mobile style I'm talking about here. We are so far away from Avengers Academy at this point, but whatever. Is this, like, randomly generated RPG. So basically it's, like, it's sort of built on that sort of mafia werewolf premise of, like, somebody dies every night in the town. But that's randomly generated who dies, and it's like it affects the quests that you go on and people's relationships. It was cool.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. I think it was a Kickstarter game.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But it sounds familiar. I don't really know how far back or from when or from what. But it does sound familiar.
But most of the games I played seemed pretty designed for mobile. Like, I played a couple of, like, zombie shooter type games, and I played... Camouflage was pretty cool, where it's like you're flying around and you have to hide. You're like a bacteria going around and you have to hide behind the white or the black from the virus that wants to eat you. But like all these games felt...
Yeah, I saw that at Boston Fig.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
But it definitely feels like a mobile game.
I guess so, but, I think that a lot of indie games are also sort of smaller in scope.
That's fair. I guess I was sort of disappointed to see there weren't very many games that had much backstory to them, which I guess sort of brings us circling back to Metroid a little bit, too. Of just, like, these games that I feel like more and more it's like either we're going hyper-intense backstory or we're going no backstory at all. How dare you even suggest we would want that? It's just interesting.
Well, I think that it depends on, I think it's perfectly fine for there to be games that just have a cool gameplay mechanic and are for that purpose. And I don't know if they always are, like maybe that seems suited to mobile for you, if it's just like
well, I guess that's really what I was trying to get at with my question is, are there any mobile games that you really feel like are story-driven? I guess Avengers Academy, a little bit.
Yeah. And I'm sure there are. Like I said, I just don't pay that much attention. But just as a side note, if you want to look at VR games, you should check out the Paris Game Week conference from Sony, because they're really doubling down on PlayStation VR. There were a lot of games for it that were shown, which was surprising to me. But yeah, bringing it back around, this is not a VR game. It's very cartoony.
Do you wish it was?
No. There are, like, they said some of the goals that they have not implemented yet. Like, you're supposed to be able to, like, send them out on dates, which I would like to do. I want to matchmake them to my heart's content.
Of course, typical.
Of course, there are some that are already in relationships based on canon. Like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, for instance.
I was going to say Cyclops and Jean Grey, but they aren't in it.
And Hulkling and Wiccan is another one that's really cute. But they all have, like, cute, like, couple actions that you can send them off to do that they have to do sometimes. It's like hang out or, like, celebrate or something like that. Really cute. Celebrate is, like, go dance together at the dance hall.
That's
and, like,
so
hang out
weird.
is just, like, hang out on the couch and talk to each other.
Oh, of course.
It's really cute, yeah.
So, is it time for us to mash up?
I guess so.
How are we going to mash up Metroid and Avengers Academy?
You collect the many versions of Samus, and they all go to school together, and talk to each other.
No, I think it's got to be more of, like a Hannah Montana situation.
A Hannah Montana situation.
Of, like, the superheroes all know each other as superheroes, with, with the suit on. But they also know each other as Zero Suits, and you have to balance those relationships. It's like a Hannah Montana or a, You've Got Mail situation.
Wait, that would actually be really fun.
You say that like you're surprised.
You have to, like, remember who knows what about you, and decide, like, when you want to reveal yourself, or if you do, and who you trust with your real identity.
Yeah.
Would you have, like, control over each one of them, or would you only have a control over a couple?
I'm not sure.
I feel like if you had control over each one, it gets a little bit, like, too controllable. Like,
you would have to have control over, like, a core group of them. Like the original 5 X-Men kind of thing. Right? And then you'd have to keep track of all these sort of other characters that you could acquire, but that you didn't control in the same way. Thoughts, feelings?
I think that's cool. That's got some intrigue. It's definitely taking a very specific part of Metroid and putting it in this.
Come on, it's the iconic part of Metroid, though.
And there's some side-scrolling elements. Because why not?
Why not? The missions you go on are side-scrolling.
Yeah, you have missions. That's it. And that can be how you meet, this has nothing to do with either of them, but that's gonna be how you meet. Like, you like recruit new superheroes.
Yeah.
It's like you go on these side scrolling missions.
Absolutely.
And you find new superheroes that you bring to your school, your academy.
Yeah, I like it. Also, Naked Mario is there.
No. No.
This episode should just be titled Naked Mario.
No explanation. No episode number. No nothing. Just Naked Mario.
And we cut out all references
There's
to
no
Naked
description.
Mario. You edit it out. You bleep it out.
There's no episode description. There's no subtitle. Just the title. Naked Mario.
This would have been a good
I
one for the
uploaded it
debates.
under a different podcast name. It's like a super secret Easter egg episode that you have to really hunt. You have to be a true fan in order to find.
Are you a true fan?
No.
Wow, I wasn't even asking
I don't
you.
listen.
I was asking
I
the
don't
viewers.
listen to our podcast. But no, I think that sounds like a really cool game, actually.
Well, I'll pitch it. I'll pitch it to Marvel.
Yeah. No, yeah. I would play it. It's got some room for some pulpy drama there.
Heck yeah.
Do you think can your superheroes die?
How would they die?
I don't know. Like if you tell your identity to the wrong person. And then they murder you.
I guess. We'd want to have some
I
kind
don't
of
know.
stakes. I don't think we'd want murder. I feel like murder feels too strong. That
They
just
kill each other in the comics.
Yeah, but it's never permanent.
Sometimes it is.
Also, we discover that Captain America is really a Nazi.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Whoever thought of that twist, just like
Completely.
they're like, I don't know.
They misread
They
the
just
room
gave up
on that one. They're
I
like,
feel
you know what
they
we
just gave
need?
up. We need something that people will talk about. How about Captain America's a Nazi? Yeah, whatever. Okay.
They pulled it out of the hat. They were like, we got our superhero hat, and we got our, like, characteristic hat. And they pulled Captain America, Nazi.
Nazi.
Just like the people at Nintendo pulled Mario, Lil Mario for that comic.
Yeah. No, but honestly, I think that's the issue of like a little bit with the movies is that there's not really very much stakes. Like I think they'll kill people in Infinity War, but like up until now it's just been like Civil War. I was like totally expecting somebody to die, but nobody died.
They've
It's a
got
little bit, like-
contracts.
I know. But all their contracts I think are running out with like Infinity War. So I think that probably, I mean, they pay them a lot of money, but like Chris Evans has said that he wants to leave. So he'll probably die. But they have like, they have like two possibilities for who can then be Captain America, so.
I'm gonna rewind. Oh, you talked about Captain America, so I can rewind to my pulling things out of hats to get Captain America is a Nazi, to rewind to what we have to do next, which is pull games out of hats. It was a really good segue, and I wasted it by letting you talk about Marvel. So.
Sorry, I have strong feelings about the movies. Also, Thor Ragnarok is supposed to be like really awesome.
I still probably won't go.
Stellar. It's by, you saw this movie, Those Who Live in the Shadows or something.
Wait.
The director of that.
Oh, it's the director. Okay, I thought you were going to tell me that, oh, shoot. Why can't I remember his name? Flight of the Conchords dude. Not Brett.
Oh.
Jermaine. I thought you were going to tell me Jermaine had written Thor Ragnarok. And I was going to
No,
be like,
the
heck
director.
yes.
The director is directing it.
Let's get some hippopotamuses up in this joint.
But it's supposed to be really awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. We could go see it this weekend.
You mean this weekend that's already passed?
Oh, yeah. We saw it last weekend. No, we didn't. Okay, are we picking old game or new game first?
Surprise me.
Go with old game. So
What a
tell me when.
surprise. Go.
Oh, Barbie Team Gymnastics.
Yes! Barbie Team Gymnastics is a classic, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Wow, this is already a stellar episode.
This is one for the books.
We don't even really need to pick. We shouldn't pick a new game. There's too much to talk about with Barbie Team Gymnastics.
The
there's
lore,
too much.
the mythology.
The lore. Yeah, I know. Like, there's so much depth to really sink our teeth into.
Just pick the new game.
We picked a new game. It's just like, okay. Okay, tell me when.
Now.
Oh. Oh my god.
What is it?
Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator. So look forward to next episode.
You know what? It's better that we got that than like a shooter. Like Barbie goes and takes down the zombies.
No, this is great. So we got, just in case you want a reminder, we got Barbie Team Gymnastics.
The classic.
And Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator.
Oh,
just so you remember that.
Oh man.
And look forward to that episode. I'm
You're gonna want to download it. Please do. October was our biggest download month yet. So thank you, listeners. We're really excited about that. Not only should you download our episodes on iTunes or Android or Google Play or any of the places that you might do your downloading, but you should also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. All at Talk This Podcast? I feel like YouTube is different.
YouTube is Talk This Sisters.
Was there already a Talk This Podcast?
No, I don't. I just thought Talk This Sisters sounded better.
Fine with me.
Because it was like, it's like part of Talk This, but it's not exactly the podcast.
I got you. I feel ya. So follow us on Instagram for like probably fun pictures of nudie Samus this week. And follow us on Facebook for Read This. Theoretically, if I have time, I'll have some more blog posts going up, so there might be new posts on the blog. We'll get another clickbaity edition of My Boyfriend Played Kingdom Hearts. Maybe. He's a deep jungle now.
Oh, Deep Jungle.
Yeah. Spoiler, he thinks the music is really intense in Deep Jungle.
It is really intense.
But I'm also trying to, maybe in honor of our daddy dating or whatever it is, I'll finally finish that Dad of Light blog that I've been working on. And yeah, so check out our website. We've got cool stuff there. Don't go looking for show notes, because they're never going to get finished. But
nope.
You can read a few of them if you want. If you like the show, leave us a review or rating on iTunes. That makes our day.
It really helps.
And tell all your friends. I've had people give me some feedback on blog posts, which is cool.
Yeah.
Somebody told, Kingdom Hearts blog fame, Josh, that it was cool that I do this podcast. Because they read the blog. So if that's not a great review, I don't know what is.
Yeah, we are cool. Tell your friends that if they listen to us, they'll be cool and hip. And with it.
Rad.
But anyway, signing off, I guess.
Yeah, this has been an episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
And I guess I'll do the sign off today. Have a spookily good day.